Good night, good night. On my way home, always driving as usual. I had a thought. The basis of this video, the fundamental thought of this video is talking about your legacy and what you leave behind, and what people will say about you when you're dead. I'm sure as many people, or people know that this rapper died down here in Florida, or got shot up. Looks like it was a setup, probably in a robbery. And the rapper Triple X Tentacion. I will always just want to say extension. But everybody's talking about him and talking about how, you know, people are looking at the bad that he did in life, myself included. And everybody's like, well, you know, he did bad, but he rapped about this and he did this. And it's like, okay, but he did this. And again, me looking to achieve balance in my thought and my way of life, my behavior, my attitudes, or my attitude towards situations, I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, you know, yeah, he did bad. That doesn't, and then he's, you know, he's giving out toys and doing other things. And one gentleman, I think it's VG, he's been in the comment section in some of my videos. He pointed out, simply, he was just like, all right, so he rapped about this and he rapped about that and some negativity, but then he started to do good things, or he gave out toys and food, and now he's, you know, he should be remembered for that. And that's fairly important, like how you live your life. You see people in other comment sections of videos, of like a Kid Organics video, where one gentleman was saying, you know, living the quiet life is the best way to live. And I could see that. I mean, I personally, I've taken up that way of like living, in a sense, where I dress down. I don't really dress up for anything unless I need to, or it's work or something like that. I don't wear the shoes, the $100 to the $300 shoes in my closet, which are, that's fairly cheap, but they're sneakers, so that's kind of a lot for a sneaker. You know, like all the phone posits, I just don't do that anymore. I don't wear the flashy clothes. It's weird if I do, feel weird if I do, so I just don't do it. But when I start seeing, you know, what all that brings you, you know, having the Louis bag and stuff like that, and it's not to say that, I mean, I gotta say this because everybody's gonna, well, people will think otherwise, but it's not to say that you can't go out, show out, and floss just a little bit, just to show off your hard-earned money and work. You know, like, you want to go ahead and do that, go ahead and do that. But people out here watching and they're hating. Now, the real reason for that, or for this video, is mainly, what did you do before you started turning over your new leaf? There was talks about him in domestic violence cases, which supposedly were trumped up charges, and somebody was just trying to get him in trouble. Also, him beefing with other rappers and things like that. And what I said about that, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I just said it all messed up, I mean, I apologize. I am generalizing here, so I guess allow me that and forgive me. And correct me if there's something about his past that I said improperly. But if you're a person and you've gone through your life mostly doing wrong, and then you have that epiphany where you want to turn over a new leaf and do something else with your life, I think what people forget is, even though that person tried to turn a new leaf and do something new with their life, that doesn't mean it erases what happened in the past. That doesn't mean you will be forgiven. That doesn't mean because you wronged somebody, whether it's a bad business deal in my case, or you hurt somebody physically, mentally, even in my case as well, and or like, you know, a past relationship where the woman felt like she was wrong. Or for some women, the men in their case, that doesn't mean just because you're doing good now or doing good by someone now that, in a sense, karma, if you believe in that, I do, I guess it's just an inferiority complex of my own. Helps keep me honest. But it doesn't mean those things won't come back to bite you in some way, shape, or form. You know, you can't be out there doing all types of crazy stuff. Say, for instance, being an alcoholic. Oh, that guy's driving fast. Can't be out there being an alcoholic and getting away with DUI, driving under the influence or anything like that, and maybe even hitting somebody and getting away with it, and then next thing you know, the consequences of your actions don't come back and bite you in the ass, one way, shape, or form. It may not be during that time. You know, there's a whole scenario, and I hope you guys understand where I'm going with that. I won't go any deeper. But what are you doing in your life? What are you doing in your life to make your story, your obituary, or your thought, what are you doing in your life to make yourself clean even in death? Best way I can put that. And I think that's the best way to sum it up. And people could be like, well, listen, fuck it, you're dead, who gives a fuck? But at the same time, there are people but left behind. And this rapper, Tentacion, he was doing some good stuff. But, you know, you're going to have haters, you're going to have people that are going after you, like, because you're beefing or what have you. And I remember the story of him getting punched on stage, sucker punched on stage, and getting totally knocked out. Like, I watched the video again a little while ago, and I was like, holy crap, that sucked. And I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, yo, what did he do to get slid on like that? Because that's wild. That's wild to me. Like, I almost want to say people don't hate that much, but that's wild that you got slid on like that. You know, and then now you're looking at it now, he got gunned down, and that looked like a setup. Like, you know, you see somebody, he probably had a bag of money to go buy something or what have you, and somebody in his camp knew about it. So we'll see what happens after that. But that does seem like an assassination or a hit of some sort. Not even a hit, but just a robbery. And that's kind of crazy. Like, what were you doing out in these streets to get touched like that in Florida? And no offense, unless you're doing something wrong with, like, say, down in Florida, it's not like some of these other cities. Unless you're doing some dirt with the cartels, like some drug running, or if you're doing something with the Zoes down here. Not to give them a bad name, but hey, they created a bit of a stereotype or a way of thinking about them. Or even the Jamaicans to a lesser extent now, because they were running things back in the day, but now they don't. But it's not one of those cities where you're just gonna get hit like that. Like, if you're gonna get hit, like, they're gonna come for your shit and take you out, but you gotta be doing some real bad stuff. Florida's not like some of these other states that I've seen, that I've witnessed. People that I know down here and everything, have lived here all my life. And Florida's not one of these places where, like, you just get hit because you looked at a dude wrong at a party or something like that. Again, it could be getting worse, but that's just kind of out of... You got to do some work to get that. To get that type of repercussion or action. So, I'm not sure what he did to get that type of attention, but he got it. And this goes back into consequences for your actions, the good and bad results. What are you doing what are you doing out here, and what type of attention are you getting because of that? And the results that you're getting, what are you doing to get those results? Bit of a loose video, but I just thought about that. It's just like how will I be remembered when I died, you know, or when I die? Will it be positive? Will it be like, you know, he was a good person, he was always nice? blah, 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 or he was an asshole, but he was fair. You know, these are the things that I think about on a daily basis myself. Like, I taught myself to be that asshole because I got tired of being walked over in so many ways. And it was I thought it was necessary for me to become this way. Now, I tell people I'm the nicest asshole you'll ever meet. And that means that, hey, listen, I'm going to be a jerk to you when necessary, but I'm going to try and, like, I'm not going to be I'm going to defend myself when necessary, and might be very harsh when I'm doing this or talking to you, but it's to help you out in the long run. Anytime I have to train somebody, I train them hard. I'm not nice about it. I want you to adapt to the situation and be able to come out of it on the other end of it and say, hey, listen, I survived this, I did well, so on and so forth. So, I don't know, that's my little spiel, man. Like, I just, how are you going to be remembered? And this guy, now you have a split where it's like, hey, listen, you were talking about bad things and negativity, and at the end of it, you try to turn a new leaf, but it's too late. You know, the dirt that was on the other side of that leaf, you know, started to tarnish or started to muddy the water, or muddy the other side of the leaf that you were trying to turn over, you know, like, don't let it be too late. I mean, the dude was 20, man. 20. I don't, like, these consequences is hitting people in the face faster. It really is hitting them in the face a lot faster. 20 years old. My nephew's about to be like 20 in like 3 more years. It's like no time whatsoever. About to be 17 on July 12th. And this kid was 20. Anyways, man. Think about how you are going to be remembered in death. As morbid as that sounds, I think it helps you maybe even lead a better life. Peace.